Welcome back to the podcast. So, happy Tuesday evening. I said I was going to record this on Sunday. I said I was going to record this on Monday. I'm now on Tuesday evening and I've still been telling myself I'm going to record this. And I think I sat on this chair in my towel just out of the shower for nearly an hour. Just fucking saying, I'll do that in a minute. And then I was down a hole on TikTok and Instagram and here I am now, 7:30 at night, still now recording it. I'm sure we can all relate to that sort of feeling, can't we? Where we just, we have great intentions, but we procrastinate like a motherfucker. And the first F-bomb's been dropped. I probably said another one, I didn't even know I'd said it. But anyway, nonetheless, hope we're all good. It has been an absolutely fantastic stretch of weather here in Northern Ireland. The last 2 days have hit 25 degrees on both days. So much so that I dragged my ass up to Newcastle, technically Newcastle, up to Murlock Beach last night, went for a dip in the sea at gone after 8 o'clock at night. Sunset was incredible, absolutely phenomenal. The water felt good. I love the beach. The beach is my favourite place in the world. I grew up in South East England and near the coast all the time, so going to the beach was a special place to me. A special place to me in terms of memories from my family. So when I get a chance out here, although it's 45 minutes away, I really just jump on it. And I've made some really special memories out in this country as well, with a couple of people as well. So it's just a place where I go and I share with those I love and I care about, and it's good for me just to mentally reset as well. So just really enjoyed the night yesterday, and then today I finished my half shift in work today, and I was like, right, I'm not going to sit indoors all day, so I took a nap like I normally do in the middle of the day because I work split shifts. As you can hear, I'm yawning as I work split shifts, and then I took myself up Sleeve Down. I don't know if you have to put the word sleeve in front of it, but Down or Doan, I call it Down, but hey, fuck it. Apparently burner is spelled bear in Ireland, but hey, whatever. Let's not talk about the language. Anyway, climbed that today. I was out for about 2 hours climbing around there, and I saw Loch Shanna, which is obviously a loch, given the name of it. I saw it, and then I went way off track going down to that, and I went and dipped in that as well today. So 2 days I've done 2 dips. I remember this time last year, I would probably go dipping at Bloody Bridge down in Newcastle probably every weekend or every other weekend. I was flat out doing it, and I loved it. For my mental health, it was great. It gave me something to do. I'm someone who struggles about routine or things to crack on with, and I need to be busy. I actually struggle taking time off work for that very reason, because I struggle not being busy and I struggle not being in a routine. So this time last year I was flat out doing those dips, but also I found that the kind of nerves and the anxieties and the stress and all that of going to do the dip, and basically one of the 2 days, one of the days I went and did it, it was 1 degree outside, and I jumped in, and people are like, why would you do that? But it's that's the point. Hard things, easy life. I remember Jay Alderson talked about it all the time on his Instagram, on his social media. Hard things, easy life, and I live by that. Nothing's gonna be easy, and if you make things hard for yourself and you work hard and you try hard, you play hard, that sort of thing, you'll be rewarded with all your efforts, basically. But if you avoid all those hard things, you'll have a hard life, because you can't cope with those sorts of things. You know what I mean? But the actual high you get out of coming out of cold water dip, I know it's all the rage at the moment. I'm not gonna sell you shit. It's fucking hard and it's not nice at first. But we did it at our gym and my company, and when you have a group of people with you, it's so nice. Just the camaraderie of it, all of it, and people with you, helping people overcome their fears as well. And then they're related, they're buzzing afterwards. And so don't get me wrong, it'd be fucking great if I lived nearer to somewhere. When I lived in Liverpool, I wish I got into it then, because when I lived in Liverpool, I lived literally right on the edge of, right next to the sea. I worked right next to the beach. So I wished when I lived there, I would have fucking gone and jumped in the sea every day, because that would have been a fucking great thing to do. But no, definitely would love to live near the seaside again at one stage of my life. So yeah, walked that today, dipped in there, felt really good, and I've come back and I've just been like a fucking sloth. But you know what? I can't complain. I've done a lot of steps. I've got out in the sunshine. I've had dinner, I've cooked, I've done everything. So I'm really happy with what I've done today. So that's my little personal intro of the week. My question of the week, however, so basically when I went and climbed earlier, I went and grabbed some snacks. So I grabbed myself some a little Lucozade Sport, some water, and grabbed myself some crisps. I didn't have the ones I wanted, but what is your go-to bag of crisps? All right. I know people close to me, I know some of their favourites are extra large Wotsits. I know they love them. I personally love Chili Heatwave Doritos. I will say though, hot take, I do think Chili Heatwave Doritos have gotten sweeter. I think they're not as hot as they used to be. I think they taste sweeter. They might not have. Maybe I've changed my taste buds or whatever. But they were my all-time favourite. If it's not them, there's Pringles extra saucy barbecue ones, not just the normal barbecue ones. They're okay, but extra saucy barbecue, fucking unreal. Absolutely amazing. So I want people to comment. I'm going to put it on. I'm going to try and figure out how to put the question on the podcast again, if I can remember how to do that. If not, DM me, please, whatever we can. But I want you to tell me what crisp is your go-to, whether it's you're on a picnic, whether you're going to the cinema, whether you're just sitting in the house on a Saturday night where you're having a couple of beers with the mates. What's the go-to crisp? What's the best ones? Okay, Monster Munch deserves to be up there as well. Okay, just saying. Quavers are okay. They're overrated though. I'm trying to think what other kind of crisps do people go for. I like Knick Knacks. Knick Knacks used to be unreal. They were quite a good one when I was younger. If anyone says a pack of Walkers, by the way, fuck up. Like, how basic do you want to be? If anyone says Ready Sorted as well, you are weirdos. But yeah, I want to know what your favourite crisp is and what is the go-to one for you. Absolutely any crisp in the world. Any crisp in the world. That's the go-to question this week. So enough about my bullshit about what I've been up to, enough about bullshit about food and stuff. We're going to talk about how to kick your ass in the gear now that we're back in September. So September, if you kind of work in the fitness industry, well, to be fair, even if you don't work in the fitness industry, September for a lot of people is kind of a, oh shit, it's time to get myself together again. Because there's a couple of reasons for it. A lot of people I work with are parents, so the kids back to school, they're able to go back to normal working hours, they don't have to look after kids all day long, they have a wee bit more freedom in terms of their own space. I know they might have to do after school clubs and all that, but they're like, right, now I can actually have an hour to myself to prioritise my own shit. So a lot of people kind of like, right, I need to get in shape, I need to get back to exercise, I need to get back to doing something, or I want to challenge myself, or I want to do something, anything like that. And I love it. It's perfect time to do it. So it's like that. It's like a new year almost. The other thing is as well is September is, if you look in Tesco's, as I've been drip feeding onto my Instagram, Christmas is looming. Halloween stuff's not even out yet, right? In most places, should I say. And that's closer. Best time of the year, by the way. Christmas is looming. They've got all the sweets out. They've got all the snacks and stuff. And like, people are already buying them. So people are already going to start thinking about Christmas this time of year. Like, I know people doing their Christmas shopping already. So what you got to realise is that people are starting thinking towards things like their Christmas do's, looking good on Christmas Day, and like getting in shape for Christmas. Because don't get me wrong, we all put on weight at Christmas. We eat and drink. That's the point. Food and drink is more than just. When people say it's fuel, that's for sports people. Food and drink is more than that. It's emotions, it's connection, it's everything in between. So I think we need to just take it. Yes, we need to look after ourselves, keep our body healthy, so we can live a long and healthy life. Spend time with our family, spend time with our loved ones. But at the end of the day, we need to enjoy ourselves. We need to go out for those meals with our friends and family. Yes, if we want looking to lose a little bit of body fat, we can do that in smart ways. But again, we need to appreciate it's more than just fuel. I've definitely just lost the trailer before, I'm not going to lie. But anyway, kicking myself back into gear. So yeah, December's coming up. People think about Christmas do's. And if you're someone, by the way, or you know someone who's thinking about a Christmas do, and like we're already going to plan our one at work already. If you're someone who's looking at getting into shape for your Christmas do, I'm going to be releasing a program in October, basically a 2-month program, full food. I get my fucking words out of my mouth. So, full 2-month program. You're going to get weekly check-ins. The whole point of the weekly check-in is basically designed so basically we can troubleshoot what's going on with you. Because the biggest thing is, like, most people don't actually get support when they're being coached, which is weird because when you're being coached, you're meant to be supported and everything like that. But the whole point of the weekly check-in is basically you're going to be able to answer a couple of questions, being like, how was your nutrition this week? How accountable were you? What was your successes? What were your struggles? And then basically we make plans and we put things in place to help you fix that. So whether it's like, I'm struggling to get my protein in, right, have these foods, have these recipes, boom, off we go. I'm struggling to actually make the most of my calories. I feel like I'm not eating enough food, right, sub this, off you go. I'm not feeling this in my training, right, tweak this exercise, do that. And that's the point. It's constantly evolving. So you're gonna get 2 months worth of training. You're gonna get weekly check-ins. You're gonna get full food accountability and check-ins for that. You're gonna be using a custom app to track all your training, to track all your lifestyle, your weigh-ins, your measurements, your progress photos. So again, keeping you accountable and keeping you supported. Because again, the reason why you failed before and not achieved what you wanted to achieve with your fat loss is because you didn't have a coach who actually gave a shit about your goals in the first place. And that's the truth. We all know how to lose body fat. It's to eat less and move more. It's the most basic fucking thing in the world. However, actually implementing that is something completely different. So what I offer is that full support. So again, through the app I do, there's an instant messaging thing in there. There's things I can comment on stuff to you. I can send you personalized videos for the check-ins, all that sort of stuff. So if that's something you're interested in, or you know someone who would be, keep an eye on my socials. Again, I'm going to be posting more about that soon. Moving on from that little plug. So how do you get yourself reset? So I always break down exercise, health and fitness into 3 key areas, and this is really simple: movement, food / nutrition, and training. Okay, so movement and nutrition are they're the they're the big blocks, right? In terms of fat loss, because it's easier to not eat something or eat less of something or eat something lower in calories than it is in terms of being able to train it or move to burn it off. Okay, one of the biggest things that people do, and I hate these posts. I understand what they're trying to do. I hate these posts. If you eat this pizza, you have to do 2 hours worth of push-ups. You have to do 20,000 burpees, and it's like, what fucking use is that? Who is actually going to... I know the point of it is to make people realise you're not going to out-exercise it, but one post like that's enough. But I see multiple people doing multiple different foods with exercises, and I'm like, what are you fucking doing? So there's going to be some idiot out there who's actually going to do it, and I suppose if you're that far down that path, maybe you need some help. But you don't need you need to talk more about what they could substitute for that pizza. So can you make your own pizza? Can you have a smaller pizza? Can you have different toppings? That sort of shit, do you know what I mean? Or how do you eat early in the day in order to have that pizza there? Do you know what I mean? Like, actually provide useful fucking information, not stupid shit like that. I probably just sworn like a million times in that one bit. If anyone wants to actually let me know how many times in that last minute between 10 and 11 minutes I swore, let me know, because that was appalling. I'm sorry. That shows how passionate I am there. I always worry, by the way, when I'm recording this. I don't know how loud I'm speaking because I'm talking to my microphone, and I talk loudly anyway, if you ever know me. So, yes, training, movement, and nutrition. So, let's go nutrition. So, the whole point of all three of these, what you're going to do, so to get back on track, you need two things. You're going to have an optimal goal, and then you can have a realistic goal. So, your optimal goal is if the stars are aligned on a given day and a given week, and you had no barriers, so you didn't have lots of work, you didn't have to run around kids' clubs, you didn't have to look after other parts of your family or anything like that, you would be able to do this target. So in terms of food, say the ideal scenario here, you weren't going out, you weren't drinking, you weren't doing anything. What would your calories be and what protein target would you hit? So set a calorie target and a protein target if everything was ideal. So if someone looking to lose body fat, a really common example would be 1,500 or 1,600 calories and say 2 times your body weight in protein. So say you're a 70 kilo female, 140 grams of protein, okay? That's the optimal, all right? Then you set the next target, which is the realistic target. So given all the stresses of your week, so your work schedule, your family schedule, and all these other things, what can you achieve that is still going to keep you on track to your goals, but is maybe not as demanding as the optimal one? So in this case, like I said, we said 1,500. Let's say we say 1,500 and we did 140 grams of protein. So the optimal is that. The realistic one, I can still be in a deficit, but this is the really key point. You still have to be in a deficit if you're doing this. It will just be a less of a deficit. So rather than being in 300 calorie deficit, I'm only going to be in a 100 calorie deficit. I'm going to go have 1,700 calories and 100 grams of protein. Okay. So I have an extra 200 calories and I'm just making sure I get at least 100 grams, which is the bare minimum I want. Okay, so you can see the difference. So the ideal is I'm getting my 1,500 calories, which puts me in my bigger deficit that I've been looking to work hard on, and I'm making sure I fill up with lots of protein, 140 grams, because it's 2 times my body weight, because that'll keep me fuller, that'll help me tone up, that'll help me get better shape and make me feel thicker, in terms of like all my muscles and feeling nicer about myself and curvy, that sort of thing. And then my realistic one is the one that when I'm maybe having a tough day, a tough period, you know, we all have those periods in our life, and you need to cut yourself some slack. You can still work towards your goals, but stop hanging yourself from your own rope, do you know what I mean? So give yourself a target that's realistic, all right? And the whole point of this method, so that's the nutrition one there, so the whole point of this method is designed to give yourself some leeway, but you're still actually achieving your goals, okay? So just because you ate more calories does not mean you failed. And that's the biggest thing I want you to think about here. Whenever you feel like you failed, what do? You feel like going fuck it and throwing the towel in, don't you? It's the whole analogy of like you lose one tire. If you slashed one tire, why would you slash? So you got a puncture, you wouldn't slash the rest of the tires. But we do. We self-sabotage. So when something doesn't go right, our weight goes up. Or despite all the good things we've done the week prior, we felt better, we looked better, we got compliments. But because the weight didn't go down, we're going to throw everything in the bin. And it's the same thing with this. It's like you're giving yourself a reason that, because I didn't hit my calorie target 4 times last week. Well, no, you did. You just had some harder days than others. So you hit the realistic target instead of the optimal target. And it means you feel like you fail less, and it means you still feel a sense of achievement. If you feel that sense of achievement, you feel like you're then going to be more, you feel better about yourself. You can feel more motivated. And again, motivation's a hard thing. It's a fuel source. It's like petrol. It burns out quickly and it runs out. It's expensive at the moment as well. And motivation is expensive. You can't rely on it, okay? So you have to find motivation in different ways. That's where discipline and values come in. If your discipline and values are there, that means you're going to be more strict to yourself. You're going to keep yourself going even in harder times and build better habits. But when you have motivation, it makes those sorts of things easier. So again, if you feel like you're succeeding more because you're still hitting realistic targets and you're not failing by missing your optimals, you get more motivation and it's easier to go on to next week, even if the result doesn't favor you just yet. Because again, fat loss doesn't happen in 4 weeks. It doesn't happen in 8 weeks all the time, to be fair. It can take 6 months to a year for real sustainable fat loss. I want people to remember that. It's not a quick process. You can make it happen quick, but it doesn't sustain it, okay? And the quality of it is not always that good. So let's just quickly take the concept of this anyway and just move it across to the other one. So we've got nutrition done there. So let's do movement now. So movement is the next biggest thing in my opinion for fat loss because it's those easy calories you burn. So you only spend an hour in the gym, you've got 23 other hours of the day. Technically, say minus 8 if you're lucky sleeping. I can't do maths, that's 15 hours awake. Let's say you sat down for 4 to 5 of them minimum, which, I mean, that depends if you've got a walk, sat down job. But all right, let's be nice. Say you sat down for that, you've got 7 hours up. So you've got 7 hours of movement, right? And then you sit down for 3 to 4 of them. So you've got 3 to 4 hours of potential opportunity to move, all right? And it doesn't really matter what time you've got, to be fair. But the point is, how much time outside the gym? It's more time than you have in the gym, right? You can spend all that time being more active. So when you're on the phone, rather than stand still, walk around the kitchen, okay? When you're talking to your friends, you don't have to sit down at a table, go for a walk as well. When you're fidgeting as well, like, don't get me wrong, if you know me, I have horrendous restless, my leg twitches all the time, my hands are flapping around all the time. They're flapping as much as my gums, to be fair. But again, I've just lost my trail of thought. But yes, the whole point is you want to create movement. Movement at the end of the day burns energy, burns calories, and it uses up fuel. And that is an extra way of getting like additional calories burned in a day. And the more you move, the bigger your deficit can be without having to change what you eat. So say if you had that previous example, we said the realistic one was where you hit 1,700 calories. But say you moved another 5,000 to 10,000 steps that day because you were off, right? I'm not saying it's going to be massive, but that could be an extra 200 to 300 calories burned. So you can actually be technically in your optimal calories, do you know what I mean? In terms of by doing maths there, do you know what I mean? Because you've actually burned an extra 200 to 300 calories than you normally would. So movement is really, really key here. And the best thing about this is the difference, right? And this is why this is more important. Movement doesn't need to be recovered from. You don't have to recover from it. And this is why it's really key for fat loss. When you do a hard HIIT workout or a super heavy strength session, it can take 2 to 3 days minimum to recover from. So then you're lazy, you're sedentary, you can't be arsed, you're sore, you sit around more. Your body's really good after a hard effort at making you do fuck all. It's really good at that. Whereas when you do low level, really low intensity things, you can do that multiple times in one day, multiple times across the week, every single day for 52 weeks a year. Like, that's something you can do all the time. So it adds up more. So if you kept banking 200 calories of movement extra a day, across the week, you can bank, what's that, 7 times 2, 1,400 calories worth of extra calories burned a week. Do you know what I mean? So this is the small details. And again, we want big changes, but big changes come from small little bits of work every week. All right. So wrapping up movement a bit. So again, movement, the biggest way to say this, the less you do, the more benefit you'll get from doing more. Basically, what we found out, we know this in a research study, if you do less than 8,000 steps, you're leaving health-related risks on the table. The closer you are to 8,000 steps daily, I can never remember how mortality works in terms of if it's lower, that's better. I think lower is better. It means lower mortality means you're less likely to die. I think that's the way it works. So the closer you are to 8,000 steps, the greater the drop in your mortality, which means you're less likely to have things that will kill you, basically. Develop things like, like type 2 diabetes, to develop cardiovascular disease, those sorts of things, anything, stroke, anything like that. So getting up to 8,000 steps for me is everyone's realistic goal. Okay, you may only be at 2,000 to 3,000 at the moment, but make a conscious effort. Unless you're someone who really struggles to get any movement in, right? But most people can get to 8,000, right? Your realistic target might be slightly lower. If you're someone who's on 1,000 to 2,000, you might be going 3,000 to 4,000. But for most people, I want at least 8,000 steps as their realistic target. Okay, that's their non-negotiable. So that's the other thing I was about to say. The realistic target is also a non-negotiable. You cannot not do this one. You have to do that one at the bare minimum. You can miss the optimal, but you have to do the realistic goal. Okay, so 8,000 at least. Again, it's the biggest health benefit marker we have. Anything over that, the kind of health benefits don't really change that much. But in terms of the calories burned, the more steps you do past 8,000, you're still burning more calories at the end of the day. So set a goal for yourself. So if you're someone who can get above 10,000 steps, why not put your optimal goal at 12,000? I know on a good day I can get 12,000. That's what you're telling yourself. Then set that as your optimal, because then it's something to chase down. If it's something to chase down, there's motivation there. And again, we said about motivation already. And again, scale this up and down on yourself. All right. Again, we all have high and low days, but work on the law of averages. And then training. So training, like this can be, again, I'm just going to use the number of sessions as a marker here, because again, we're all busy. And again, same sort of thing. The more sessions doesn't necessarily mean the better. It just means you can split your training a bit differently. So if you're someone who does 2 sessions a week, you do 2 full body sessions. If you're someone who does 5 sessions a week, you can do kind of upper lower splits across the week, that sort of deal. But basically, your realistic goal, your non-negotiable is, I would 9 times out of 10 suggest people to get at least 2 sessions a week in. Depending on the type of person it is, and again, training for people here, especially in fat loss, it's about toning. And toning basically just means more muscle, by the way. Toning is more muscle with less body fat on top. It looks more toned, it looks more defined. That is toned, okay? So training is designed to do that. So you need to strength train to tone up. You have to get stronger. You have to work hard in the gym to tone up. And that's a non-negotiable. So if you're not working near to failure in terms of an exercise where you get those really shaky reps, like you're nearly gonna miss a rep, you're leaving something on the table. And again, that's another topic altogether. But talking about realistic target, at least 2 sessions a week, ideally strength training sessions, unless there's a reason why you're not doing that. Again, I have some clients who need more cardiovascular exercise because it's like sport related or something like that. It might be they're doing like a marathon, those sorts of things. But for most people, 2 strength training sessions at minimum per week would be ideal, alongside their walking. Again, you can set a number. Like I said, you can set different targets. Your optimal might be though, well, if I'm having a really good week and I've got time, I'm gonna do 4. Do you need to do 4? No, but some people enjoy that and they feel better for doing 4. Like I'm someone who feels better doing 3 to 4 sessions a week, because I actually feel when I stop moving and stop training, I feel stiffer, I feel lethargic, I feel better before training, and mentally I feel fucking fantastic when I train. So that's the idea. So take this concept, grasp it by the bollocks, all right? I don't know why I just said that. It just came into my head and I just said it. And I swear to fuck, someone said to me the other day, are you sure you don't have ADHD? I was like, I definitely don't. At least that's what I've been told. I've got something else, but I haven't got ADHD. Fuck me, I've lost my point again. Anyway, no, back to my point. So yes, we've got 2 things. We have got, oh my God, what we got? Oh yeah, that's it. We've got the optimal and we've got the non-negotiable or the realistic, okay? So again, remember the optimal, that's the one you want to do if you're having your best week, you're living your best life, everything, the stars are aligned, you're eating your greens, you're eating your chicken, broccoli and rice and that boring shite and stuff. But like, no, seriously, that's the target you strive for. That's the one where you're pushing yourself and you're having good, you're feeling good with your energy and you've got a lot more energy to spare. When you're under the cosh a wee bit and you're really feeling that bit pushed down and everything like that, you're really struggling, that's when you lean into the realistic goals and your non-negotiables. But again, it's non-negotiable. That goal is something you need to still hit every single day. All right. If you don't hit it, look, the world's not going to end. However, I want 6 days, 5-6 days a week of those 7 hitting that non-negotiable. Ideally, I want 7. If I'm honest, I would rather someone hit 7 because that's the whole point of non-negotiable. It should be something you can always achieve. All right. So take this method. This is the reset method. Okay. It's a really good one. I've honestly, you can apply it to so many different things, but like I said, because of the time of year, it's a really good one to bring into the play at the moment, and I really, really enjoy it. Again, shameless plug. This is something I like to do with my clients. It's like, look, I give them hard set goals. I will be honest with that. I give them hard set goals. But whenever we do our check-ins, I'm always talking about like, right, so if you're having a struggle to hit this on this day, why don't we aim for that? And I always keep my clients in the know as well. So when we're making decisions, I'm like, right, I always say stuff like this. I think, right, we should change your calories to this. We should make changes to protein in this, or maybe add this workout in. And I'll be like, what do you think? Because the biggest thing I've found working with clients is if I offer them a kind of opinion or a choice, you are more likely to engage in the program. If you're more likely to engage in the program, you're more likely to get better results. And you feel more supported, you feel better heard, better understood. Because how many times when you have a conversation with someone, if you can't say your opinion, does it piss you off? We all love to give opinions. It's 2 things we like. There's love in life. We love coffee, we love opinions. And I know there's people out there who don't like coffee and you guys are fucking weirdos, so bugger off. No, actually, please stay. Please follow the podcast, by the way. But no, seriously, people love to give opinions. And part of my coaching process is allowing you to voice your opinion, and then we work together and meet in the middle ground. I give you the support you need to achieve the result you haven't been able to achieve because you weren't supported before. All right? Take this method, give it a run for it, And if you're someone who wants a bit of help with this, don't be afraid to reach out. DM the word. What word can I give you this week? DM me the word goals. GOALS. Can I do the phonetic alphabet here? Golf, Oscar, Alpha, Lima, Sierra. There we are. Boom. Fucking have that. 25 minutes in, and I've managed to get the phonetic alphabet in there. Fuck me. What am I doing? Right, guys. As always, answer the question at the beginning, front of the podcast. Again, what is your go-to crisp? Okay. As always, if you're not following the podcast already, please drop the podcast where you follow. I really do appreciate it if you do. Share it with your friends as well. I'm trying to build this audience. I want to get it out to more people at the end of the day. I'm doing this podcast as I want to help more people, because Instagram's a weird thing at the moment where Threads is kind of taken over, and Reels and posts and all that aren't reaching as many people as they used to. I'm still getting good reach and stuff, but I still want to get out to more people. I want to help more people. This costs nothing to help. You can stick this in your ears. You can fucking, God help you if you stick this in your earphones and you listen to me. Yeah. Look, guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you got some value from it. And I hope you enjoyed the more relaxed kind of like just pub chat style here. And if you have a recommendation for next week's question, send it over to me. And again, if you want more help from me, don't be afraid to DM me the word goals, and I'll help you implement this method. For now, guys, I've been Callum. I hope you're doing really well. I hope you have a really good rest of the week. Enjoy the sunshine, stay safe, use sunscreen, and I'll see you soon.